lights out. They're very good. It's a good start from both Mata and Cobb. Getting the better exit, and both of them spun simultaneously. Heading into the Camel straight, still going side by side as well. Side by side into the Curva Grande. Are they going to keep it side by side with Iceman? Yuri going for the dive bomb. Can he make it work? He's gone off a bit. And look at that. Oh, right here, right now. Otherwise, the undercut will not work. It's going to be very, very close. Iceman just gets ahead of Kyle there. Mata comes across the line, and he's your VSL Season 6 champion. Hello everybody and welcome along to VSL F1 Season 7. The championship is getting even tighter and tighter every round, and very, very soon, in a couple of rounds time, we will find out who is the VSL Season 7 champion. And tonight, for round 18, we go to a circuit that sits over 2 kilometers above sea level, making the 4.3 kilometer lap a breathless experience. It is of course the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico for the Mexican Grand Prix. My name is Jess, your commentator for this evening, and we should be in for an epic race. This is where we were, I think, for the opener last season in Season 6, and that was a cracker. I'm almost predicted that that is going to be a cracker as well. The track was built in 1959. And it was the father of Mexico's most famous racing brothers. That's why obviously the track was named after that. And the 1963 race, which was where Formula 1 first hosted the championship race in Mexico, was won by Jim Clark. So Jim Clark was obviously a bit aware of that. So without further ado, we're going to get started with the qualifying session. I will go through the standings just a little bit later on when we head to the formation lap. If I can actually find the correct scene to go to. There we go, that's better. So, if you missed last week's race, then where have you been? It was a very good race. It was around the Circuit of the Americas, and we saw Mata take another win, which meant he took the lead of the Drivers' Championship. 1 point separates himself and Panos. It's that close, and I hope, for my sake, and for everybody's sake as well, for those of you that are watching, it will go down to the wire, and they only have 3 more races to do it. Now, realistically, I think in terms of maths, I think the top 3 are still in this fight, but Kieran realistically would need the top 3 to bottle it in the race for him to stay in it, but you never know, anything can happen in Formula 1. Let's go on board with a lap around this circuit with Panos, who is currently sitting in P2 in the standings. So here we go then. Turns 1 to 3 complex is situated on one of the longest straights around this circuit and on the F1 calendar. The main overtaking spots on this track, around about 200 miles per hour here as you head towards turn 1. Don't put anything over the curb in around turn 1 because you end up locking up. Traction is very tricky out of turn 3. The car could be quite understeery there as well. You'll be heading towards turn 4. You see as you came between the second straight, and you got to absolutely nail it in third gear. Now you're going to be going into third gear here as you head towards turn 6, and then heading towards now the edge of turn 7. The edges through turn 7 to 11 resembles those of Suzuka, Silverstone, USA as well, and the Essex, you name it. And this is where we start to see a few drivers get a few penalties in the race. And now you're going to be heading towards turn 12. It used to be the fearsome Paratada, but the corner was far too dangerous back in those days for modern Formula 1 cars. So they made a stadium section, which is actually good to watch for the races. So if you do come here around Mexico, maybe you can try watching it there. So anyway, Panos comes across the final corner, and he has invalidated his lap, but I was going for a lap anyway, just to be sure of that. So quite a few drivers on the mediums, including this driver, Kieran, who's currently sitting in P4 in the standings. Let's see what he could do in this session. Comes across the line. It's P2 for him. But current championship leader is now top of the timings with a 1:15.500. I wonder what lap time we could be expecting for pole position, let us know in the live chat. Or if you're watching this back, let us know in the comments to see what you think could come with this session. Plenty of things could still happen though, so you never know. Car in P2 at the moment. Anyone else on our lap? Now I'm actually going to get my tablet out of the way so I can see the track map. There we go. So New Garden is on an out lap, so I think I'll have to go on board with someone else. Let's Mercedes of Ahmed. Here comes across the final corner. What can he do? 1:16.328 puts him in P4. Respectable lap time from him. And we got the Alpine, one of the Alpine cars. That's not Ryan Berry. That's I think it was his teammate Tony, who just came into the pits. Whereas Panos comes across the line, the first man into the 114s already, about 5 or 6 tenths clear of P2, which is his rival in the championship. Wow, he looks like he's very comfortable around this track. So I wonder if he could replicate that in the race. So anyone else about to cross the line? We've got Kieran who's going into the pits. Quite a few drivers are going into the pits actually as well. But we can see, I think someone else just went quicker, but I didn't see who went quicker. Quite a few people are on older lap tyres, so I strongly suggest that could mean something could happen in the race in terms of the weather conditions. Casper then heads towards the dreaded SS section around Mexico. I don't like it around here. I could go very wide around here. It's so precise. It's very hard to do on a pad as well, but luckily I don't drive on a pad around here. Heading towards turn 13, then turn 14, and then heading towards turn 15. He's got a few more corners to negotiate, does the Alfa Romeo driver, who's had a solid season so far. Could get some better results towards the end. No, P2 for him in the Alfa Romeo. 2 Ferrari powered cars in the top 2. Next across the line would have been New Garden, but unfortunately he has invalidated. So I believe that will be it for the time being, but there is more drivers on their out laps to begin their second laps already. And I know around Mexico, because I've done quali laps in the past around Mexico, your banker laps are very crucial. So 10 minutes to go of the session. And with the times that close between, I would say, the midfield, that can mean anything in terms of points. Because don't forget, the top 12 will be scoring points in this league, just like normal. And we also got the Deck and Ryan rivalry still ensuing this season. And Ryan Berry still ahead quite comfortably there in that front. Pete has retired. He retired just after the S's actually and binned it. So I wonder what happened there. No other cars are going past. Let's see. I wondered. It might be Mclaren that goes past. I'll see if I can catch Pete's car. His car will probably go away by the time he goes past. Oh, it's just about the edge after the S's. Yes, I was right there. So he'll be starting no higher than 9th position. So a bit unfortunate for him, but he's got it all to do in the race. Cliffy, one of our reserves for this evening in the Aston Martin. Lovely helmet though to match the livery. I really like it. He really impressed us in Australia a couple of rounds ago. He took an impressive race victory. Can he round it off with another race victory tonight? Obviously he invalidated, so he hasn't set a lap time yet. Deck has also invalidated, so he went into the pit lane. Who else will be next across the line? It will be Mike. No, it's not Mike. It will be Kieran to start his next flying lap. So then it won't be Kyle, because unfortunately he has invalidated his lap time. Casper has been on those tyres for 2 or 3 laps already, but the lap he just done unfortunately was invalidated. Just look at the gap between first and second position. It's quite big at the moment. So I think obviously with the track being its grippiest soon and the drivers being more confident, I think we'll probably see some more quicker times from some of these drivers. Mclaren is next to approach the line. He's 12th at the moment, and I'm sure he can find a bit more time. I know he can. He's produced some surprises this season. Can he produce a surprise tonight? And he comes across the line in P9 with I need to check the timer quickly, a 1:16.465. So, actually quite close to obviously Sam in P8 and Ryan Berry in P9. Don't forget some drivers set their lap times on the medium compound tyres. Panos is on a lap, but he unfortunately has invalidated. So as I was saying earlier, those banker lap times could be crucial to be getting pole position. So probably Panos will be going into the pits. We're just sitting for a moment longer. His championship rival, he is quite confident that he could get a fast lap on the medium compounder tyres. He thinks the alternate strategy could work out better for him, but into the turn 3 exit, that is not good at all, because he was a bit squirmy there heading towards turn 4. I think he would have compromised his set to 1 a little bit. So he needs to have a miraculous set to 2 and set to 3. I wonder if he's backing off a little bit there. But he could go again though if he does not want to start on those medium tyres, and he's hit the wall. Very easy to do, and he's compromised his lap a lot. He'll be starting no higher than P4 on the grid. Our championship leader is in the walls right now, and that is good news if you're a Ferrari driver and if you are Panos, because that could be points that you try to close in on your rival, because 1 point is a gap, don't forget. If Panos outscores Mata by quite a lot tonight, it could change everything, and that could be advantage Panos going into the final 2 rounds. And there's a few people actually struggling at the moment, so I wonder if the track is having less grip at the moment. I don't know. But as most people have done their laps at the moment, as Kyle is in P2, quite close to Panos' lap time right now. Speaking of that, Panos just goes quickest with a 1:14.735. 33, sorry, not 35. Why did that read 35? It was hard to read on my screen for the time being. We've got Mercedes up to the line then. And I don't think, actually he does improve, I think. P4, he improves in time but not in position. And will Casper go again? Casper, I believe he's on the lap then, so he has been saving it, or he's saving his battery. Never mind. So, next across the line will be the AlphaTauri driver of Slenderman, who's reserving tonight for one of them. Another great helmet tonight, P5 for him. Another driver that's produced excellent results as reserve. Who knows, he could be full-time next season. Next season is not that long away, so do watch out for that. As we see a few more people crossing the line. Deck has unfortunately invalidated. Panos, I believe, will be going into the pits, because otherwise he won't have time to set his final lap, and obviously he's running out of fuel anyway. A bit late going into the pits there, so that was quite close indeed. So, a few people are preparing for one final lap, and the pressure will be upped for these drivers who haven't set representative lap times. Yuri, Cliffy, Deck, those 3 need to step it up quite a lot. Kieran, he's on a lap now, an early lap for him, but he thinks that probably this lap may not be the best for him, and he's going to get a nice tow from Mike. Mike is helping him out a lot here. So I wonder if it was intentional. If it was intentional, I mean, that would have been good teamwork. But if it wasn't, then it was just a coincidence. Who knows? But anyway, we'll see what his sector 2 split is very, very soon. Quite a few yellow flags, obviously with just people moving out the way of each other. Flipping that curb very nicely. But then that next curb, that costed him, and he has invalidated. He has another go though. he has actually a couple more goes because we did see a few people. Surely that's going to be next lap invalidated as well. Oh, he's going into the pits. Oh. So he wants to be on fresher tyres then. Okay. That's going to be close. I don't think he's going to set one final lap. But we'll see. We'll see. Ahmed's on a lap though. And I think Mike was on a lap as well. Well, about to start one anyway. We got Mclaren of Flexi, who's going to probably go into the pits. He has invalidated anyway. Yep, he goes into the pits. I do believe the times are a minute behind what we see. So don't panic if they're on out laps because I think it is a minute behind. But you never know. But since it's a short lap, that's probably why they're going out as late as they possibly can. We'll try and find the first person who will be to cross the line for their final lap. That will be Ahmed, who will cross the line first. And we also got the Red Bull as well, who I believe just came out of the pits. Quite a few people are out of the pits. Oh, Ahmed had to back out a little bit there, as he's retired on track. He's not meant to do that, and unfortunately the rules are quite strict here in VSL that if you do retire on track, whether it's at quali or the race, then unfortunately you do get a quali ban for the next race. So for Brazil, he's going to be starting right at the back of the grid. Surely he would have wanted that. And that's Newgarden's lap compromised because there was a Mclaren out of the way. Yuri's about to start his lap. Going into sector 3 now. To the Alfa Romeos. Let's look at Kyle. He's up first. 1/10 down on his sector 2 time right now. The final sector needs to be huge for Kyle. So can he knock Flexi or Panos off his perch? He has invalidated, but he does have one more go. His teammate also has one more go as well, but Panos slips to the top of the timing sheets once again with a 1:14.5, still the only man into the 1:14s at the moment. That is absolutely huge margin right now. Can anyone go better, as we're not that long until the end of qualifying? Slenderman could only go 7th fastest right now, but again he has one final lap. Newgarden will be the next person to set a lap. He goes quicker by quite a lot actually to P10, a 1:16.1. We got an Alpine across the line, P8, but he does have time to go again. Mercedes driver is up next. It's not Ahmed. Ahmed is not even on the circuit. Kev does not have time to go again. That is it then. That is his qualifying done, unfortunately. He could only manage 9th position. Kyle's teammate, Casper, what could he do? He's got quite a few wins under his belt already in VSL. Well, he's not going to get pole tonight because he has invalidated. Behind him is Panos. He doesn't need to go again, I don't think. I think his lap would be enough, but there's still a few more people to set lap times. Slenderman included, but I believe he just invalidated on the final sector. And we got Kieran up next. Kieran, 4th place. Brilliant stuff from him. Cliffy, he got a win in Australia. Well, he can't get pole today. He invalidated, so I think we're just waiting for Mike, and Mike's going into the pits. Newgarden, can he go even quicker? No, I think that is over for qualifying. It is Panos that is on pole, and Panos could not believe his luck here. He was not expecting to get pole by this margin, and I can repeat what he said in the chat. What the actual beep, he even lost time in sector 2. So even losing time in sector 2 still is enough to get you pole position, Panos. You're just OP around this circuit, mate, just saying. But I believe we will be waiting for people to go into the pit, and then we could get this race underway. Oh my word, this is going to be very, very exciting. What will the weather have in store for us? What will the race have in store for us? As I have to say, this has thrown the championship quite closer and close, obviously, matter. Even though he retired early on due to his crash, his lap time is still good for 6th. His best lap time was on the softs. So everyone in the top 10 will be sung on the softs, but it just shows with some people the banker laps were enough. And the gap to P6, I have to say, is quite small margin if you look at it. Just look, the gap between 6th and 7th is about 3 thousandths of a second. But let's have a look then at your qualifying results. Panos on pole position, Casper in P2, Flexi in P3, Kyle in P4, Kieran in P5, Matta P6, Mike P7, Slenderman P8, Deck P9, Ryan Berry rounds up your top 10. Then we got Tony, Kev, Newgarden, Ahmed, Matt Ryan, Pete, Yuri, and Cliffy. Cliffy was the only driver to not set a lap time. So we will go through the driver's standings as of USA last week. And as I said earlier, a 1 point gap separating Matta and Panos. So Matta in P1 in the standings, Panos in P2. Flexi in P3, Kieran in P4 on 198. 5th is Kyle with 146. 6th is Ryan Berry with 133. 7th is Casper with 124. 8th is Akon, 92 points. 9th is Tony with 91, joint with Iceman in 10th. 11th is Pete with 83 points. 12th is J-Luke on 76 points. 13th is Hataru with 75 points. 14th is Clippy with 67 points. 15th is Kev with 51 points. 16th is Brandon, 42 points. 17th is Matt Ryan with 37 points. 18th is Mike with 26. 19th is Yuri on 24. And 20th is Lee on 22. Second page then. We got Ahmed in 21st, also on 22. Slenderman second on 20. 23rd is Vitinho, 18. And we got Newgarden, Risky, Dave, Maverick, Beaker, Delta, Petrodat, and then Goodlib. And just a quick reminder, of course, we are sponsored this season by Rogue Energy, a drinks company who provide so many good things. And if you want to get products from them, you could use the code VSLF1 for 10% off, and you can do this by going on to their website, that is rogueenergy.com. Once again, thank you to Rogue Energy for sponsoring us as well. A few social media plugs before we get started with the race. If you're liking what you're seeing so far, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If the button is red, turn it to grey. And also hit that notification bell if you are new. And turn the notifications to all so you know when to check out our streams. It is every Wednesday night at 8 PM UK time, so make sure you do not miss it. You can also follow us on Twitter. All the details were on the overlay. It was at VSL_F1. And you can also follow me on Twitter as well. It is at JessGames95. I just hit 2,000 followers recently. So, quite a big milestone if you ask me, but kind of want more. But obviously, the main priority, follow VSL_F1 on Twitter. That will be much appreciated. So the drivers are going to get their strategies sorted. And we're getting a few predictions in the chat from the drivers. as the drivers are doing well to obey the 2-minute rule this evening, which is great to see. Very happy with that those rules are not broken. Just gives people time to get a drink or pop to the loo or just get in the mindset, in the ritual of the race. And I wonder what drivers will do when obviously they are preparing for a race. Do they have some music on? Do they have some music on when they race? I don't. I have it before a race, but I don't during the race because otherwise it just doesn't give me that concentration that is needed. Tyre strategy for today. Mexico is one of those tracks where we could see a 2-stop race. 13 laps the softs could go for, but it is 1.132 seconds quicker than the mediums. 17 laps the mediums can last, and 22 the hards can last. But take that with a pinch of salt. Each tyre could possibly last a few laps longer sometimes, depending on the weather conditions. So the drivers are ready and they are on their formation lap. So it gives me a great chance for me to tell you what tyres people outside the top 10 are on. So we have got Tony, who's on the mediums, Kev, who's on the softs, Newgarden, who is on the softs as well. Ahmed is on the mediums, Matt Ryan is on the mediums as well. Pete is on the mediums, Yuri's on the softs, and Cliffy that's on the mediums. Now, more people that are on the softs early on strongly suggest they'll probably go for a 2-stop. Or could they make the soft to medium work? Because if I was outside the top 10, possibly the alternate strategy by starting on the mediums probably would have been easier for me. But starting on those soft tyres give you a little bit more flexibility. So I wonder if any of your predictions have changed on who you think will win the race. Don't forget it's Panos that will be leading the way. Casper alongside him on the front row. Flexi there as well. Mata in 6th. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to beat Panos tonight. The one who finishes ahead of each other will have a slight edge going into the next round in Brazil. But we'll see, we've got to think about Mexico tonight as the drivers make their way on to the grid. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and share the stream out with your friends, because we want to get as many people watching the stream as possible. So we'll see then who is going to win this one. Will we see a new winner, or will we see lights to flag victory from Panos? Will we see someone go from outside the front row to win the race? It's happened loads of times this season. It could happen again in Mexico. And I just about heard myself on stream there. That would have been a disaster. Anyway, the 5 red lights are on and we are underway here at Mexico. Let's see who has the greatest of starts. Quite even, but Casper had the better launch there as they head around the long straight towards turn 1. Flexi in the middle of this as well. Starting P3 could be used as an advantage here, but we will see. No trouble from the start from the front guys right now, but we're seeing quite a few people drop their positions just a little bit. So people are going to be on a knife edge for now, as we've got Mike and Slenderman side by side in past turn 4, heading towards turn 5 and 6. Let's see who has the edge there on the inside. We got Carl and Panos going for a move. Flexi gets the lead of the race. He's made past 3 cars and he's now your race leader. Panos dropped to third. Casper's dropped to fourth. What's happened to him? He was your race leader for a moment, but he's not. Panos is trying to get Casper back and take revenge from that start as we head towards the stadium section. Quite tight in the midfield as well. We got quite a few incidents. We got Deck down in 17th. We got quite a few people that will probably go into the pits then. We got Tony and Matt Ryan go by side into the final corner. And a bit of a slide there from Tony that almost caught one of the Red Bulls of Newgarden off guard as well. So we'll see then straight line speed for Tony. Newgarden's got to really go on defence here and know where Tony could look. Tony is not going for the attack just yet. So it's going to be quite a while before these guys go for a move. So obviously we've got Pete, Yuri and Ahmed into the pits. So they probably had a bit of a kerfuffle in the opening lap. But it is Flexi that leads. Obviously no DRS activated as of yet. We will look at the position changes very, very soon. Don't be surprised to see some of the drivers get quite a few warnings already, because that is sometimes what happens in Mexico on this game. The track you want to get little to no penalties in is Mexico, because you could reap the rewards. You could get so many rewards and get one of your best results of the season. Fastest laps are starting to come about here. Kyle doing an excellent job in P2. Obviously he's not going to get the DRS yet, but he set the fastest lap of the race so far. So he could be the one that challenges Sam for the lead of this race into turn 1. But he doesn't get the move. Kev gets the move done on Ryan Barry, or does he? As Ryan Barry goes side by side, heading towards turn 2. To the left hand side he goes. He takes P7 from Kev. Ryan Barry is like, no, you're not having that move, Missy. And this could be a brilliant scrap. Mata has had a bad start. Mata's dropped down into 9th place. And this is his championship mistake. He's won the championship last season and the season before that. And he does not want to lose the championship. So if he has a bad race here, this could play very well into Panos' hands today. Speaking of Panos, he's 1/10 behind Kyle. Casper has got the first time penalty of the day, which is not good. A few people on a few warnings already, like I said. So we'll see what Casper has to deal with. A few mentions of the DRS zone. We got the DRS zone in the run up towards turn 1, as well as the run up towards turn 4 and 5, and then obviously between turn 11 and 12. Let's see Panos and Kyle going for the move. And we got Casper as well, that could spoil the party here right now. And Flexi's also in this fight as well. Panos could go for a double overtake. He does not go for the double overtake. He didn't want to go for that risk at the moment. But if it was going to be a double overtake, that would have been absolutely insane. But we're seeing Titans fighting to the bitter end right now. And this could work very, very well for the Constructors' Championship. I forgot to say about the Constructors, but it is Williams that lead the way in the Constructors. 346 to Alfa Romeo's 328. And obviously Casper in P2 has helped a lot, but his penalty won't. Carl's now dropped to 4th. He was 2nd. But still, a long way to go for him. He is looking for a good result. The last few races have not been the best for him. So hopefully tonight could change that for him. It's quite sunny here at the moment. No threat of rain. No clouds in the sky at the moment. And obviously the spectators are enjoying every minute of this motor race so far. Mata gained a few places as well. He is up into 7th position. Ked then. Can he gain a bit of DRS and toe from Ryan Berry then? And we could see a late lunge towards turn 1. We are going to see a late lunge towards turn 1 then. But again, Ryan Berry was defending for his life. And another way of saying, you want to fight? Game on, he says. And Kev on the attack once again. And all this just allowing the guys up front just to increase their gaps. And I think with the DRS trade between obviously P1 and P5, I think it's going to be very, very difficult for the drivers to get any sort of overtake done here at VSL tonight. Because obviously they've got to be wary of their penalties, they've got to be very wary of their warnings. Some drivers have been good in the past with getting hardly any penalties. Some drivers have not. Sometimes for some of the drivers, 3 seconds they don't mind getting. As long as they only get 3 seconds, that is a win in their books. Panos is going for a move on Casper once again. Casper does not want Panos to get P2 in the slightest. Casper knows that Panos is fighting for a championship, but that's not going to change Casper's mind, as Panos lost a bit of time into turn 3. And that has allowed Casper to gain a little bit more time there. Kyle going for a similar move to what we saw Casper do earlier on, but he stays behind. Kieran as well. This is just ever so tight. Shane Slenderman and Mata weren't in that fight as well. But if the top 5 keep battling, they could be. As Mike goes into the pits, I wonder if Mike had a bit of a spin somewhere. As we're seeing Ahmed and Yuri having a bit of a scrap there. Ahmed up into P16 on the road. In about 6 laps time, 6-7 laps time, we will be thinking when more the drivers come into the pits. It will be a soft to hard strategy if they come in on lap 13. Or will they be very brave and get the mediums to the end? Casper, I believe, is going for the 2-stop strategy. And he wants to... Well, I'm almost certain he's going to do the 2-stop strategy, because there's no way he's going to get those tyres to the end. As Yuri's out of the race. And we got a safety car. That is brilliant timing for Casper then. He just exited the pits. And don't forget, the pit lane lost time around here is 20.5 seconds. I wonder where Yuri lost it, actually. He lost it. It's hard to tell with the track map, actually. I think his car is gone now, but obviously I will get his thoughts with him later on. So, obviously, will some of the drivers forced to pit? I think quite a lot of drivers will be forced to do the 2-stop strategy. Or will they stay out and try and go and stretch these softs for a bit longer? Because being at a reduced pace, you won't be using that much tyre wear. So maybe you want to try and stay on to like lap 15, 16. And then go on to a medium until the end. Quite an interesting conundrum here. Flexi's in the pits. Kyle's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's not good. That is not good at all. So, here we go then. We're starting to see pretty much everybody go into the pits. Apart from if you're Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan wants his glory under the sun. He wants to be your race leader. Flexi in P2. Tony unfortunately could not join the P2 fan club at the moment. But with Casper on the soft, does that mean it's going to rain towards the end of the race? That is my thoughts going into this. Because would he have gone on a soft otherwise? Or did he make a mistake going on to the soft to compound the tyres? He probably knows something that we don't. Here at Mexico. Don't forget, Michael Schumacher, when he made his debut into Formula 1 in 1992, he took his first podium here in Mexico. Will someone take their first podium today? Tony is in a very good position to do that, but he hasn't made his stop. 2 drivers out of the 17 that we've got still left in this race has yet to make a stop. And I think the safety car is going to be in for one more lap because a few drivers still to pit. And there was also a big crash in Mexico in 1991 involving Ayrton Senna. He turned up to the event with stitches in his head following a jet ski incident. Then during qualifying he attempted to take the Parada corner faster than usual and crashed violently as a result. The rare mistake for the Brazilian saw his McLaren spin off and roll before coming into a stop after hitting a tyre barrier. He was uninjured and went on to finish 3rd in the race, so he's still got injury and he's still got P3, so fair play to him. And it just shows that you do not give up. Casper has got to have a good restart. That's it. He's the only driver on the soft compound tyres. Everyone else has gone either for the mediums or the hards. Let's go through at the ones that are pitted, who's on what tyre. So, Flexi is on the medium tyres. Panos is on the mediums as well. Kieran is on the mediums. Slenderman is on the mediums. Matta is on the mediums. Kyle's on the mediums. Kev's on the hards. Clippy's on the mediums. Ryan Berry is on the mediums as well. Newgarden has the hard compounded tyres. Deck has the mediums. Mike has the mediums. Pete has the mediums. And Ahmed has the mediums. And obviously Tony and Matt Ryan are on the mediums as well because obviously they haven't pitted. So, let me look at the safety car. Is it going to be coming in? And will it be forced to do one more lap? Surely it'll be coming in, surely. Yes, it will be coming in. I wonder if Matt Ryan, so many Matts in this lobby, man. I wonder if Matt Ryan has done a safety car restart before. It'll be a lot of pressure for him. As soon as he floors it, he can't slow down. That's the crucial thing. And he's decided to floor it now. You can't overtake just yet until we go green, green, green. But the one who's had a better restart is Flexi. He knew what Matt Ryan was doing. He's on the fresher tyres. We got some pile up at the back, but we'll keep an eye on that in just a second. Flexi towards turn 1, down the right hand side there, into towards turn 2 now, and heading towards the entry of turn 3. He keeps his line. Flexi is up into P2. We're starting to see the ones who haven't pitted yet starting to fall behind the race side. Tony down into P6. We got Casper who's trying to have a bit of a scrap with Tony, but Tony's got past him. So maybe the softs haven't warmed up to temperature just yet. Carl has dropped down into 8th, but he overtaken Slenderman for it, which was good. So that was a very good move. Slenderman has been picking up quite a lot of penalties here today. Let's see how many penalties he's on right now, actually. He's on 11 seconds worth of penalties. That is not good for the AlphaTauri driver, as Panos actually goes past Matt Ryan. So he's up into P2. Kieran then, he's got to make the next move. If he does not, he makes a tiny bit of contact with Matt Ryan. I don't think that's giving him any damage though. So, here comes Kieran. Down this long straight, don't forget. Matt Ryan is probably going to fight back here as well, which I think could be absolutely insane, but they all stay behind. Kyle is having a very good fight with Matta. Matta, our championship leader. Kyle on the right hand side towards turn 3. He had a bit of a slide there. He almost made contact with some other cars there, but Matta was probably relieved that Kyle did not make the move stick there. And that's allowed Cliffy and Slenderman to climb up the ranks. Cliffy up to 7. Kyle's made another mistake again, and he has spun, and he's retired on track, and that's another quali ban for... So we have 2 quali bans. I can't remember who the first one was for. But I'm sure the stewards will probably be watching the stream back and will note that. Who was it? Who was it who retired on track in quali? I don't know. But Carl is out of this race, and that adds to a long list of DNS that he has at the moment. So, DRS activated right now for these drivers, but some of them are not close enough. But the person that is close enough right now is Matter. Here he comes then, past Tony, but this time he did it with ease, and he's up to 5th place. Doing very well with those medium tyres and looking to do all he can to see if he can see his championship rival near him. He's not quite near him yet. The gap's around about 4 or 5 seconds between himself and Panos. So with them obviously pitting earlier due to the safety car caused by Yuri, I think round about lap 24, I would say, would be the time that if they were going to pit, they were going to be going on to the soft compound tyres. And I think we're seeing Mclaren tyres is just falling on the edge of a cliff right now. Even though those tyres could last a little bit longer, 17 laps. With fresher mediums, the delta is just so much greater. And we got a yellow flag in sector 2. That is a Alfa Romeo of Casper. He has spun. He had to pit quite early on due to damage. So that was why he just dropped further down the grid. So that is unfortunately his race compromised. What could have been for Casper, unfortunately, but that's sometimes what happens in motor racing. Ryan Berry then. He is looking for an attack as well. He stayed in P8 ahead of his teammate. So, with most people pitting, apart from the ones that haven't pitted yet, let's see who has gained the most positions. So, Flexi up 2, Kieran up 2, Matter up 2. Did Cliffy pit yet? Yeah, Cliffy has pitted. Cliffy up 12, a massive 12 positions. He's a big fan of the alternate strategy, isn't he? The alternate strategy does work for him, doesn't it? Obviously, he, well, starting lower down at least, even if he wasn't on the alternate strat. Senderman up 1 position. Ryan Berry up 2 positions. Tony up 2. Actually, no. Scrap that, because obviously he hasn't pitted. Kev up 1. New Garden up 1. And Pete up 1. Cliffy then. He's going to have another position to add to the list as he gets past Matt Ryan. No troubles there for the Aston Martin driver for tonight. .3 seconds then is the gap between Flexi and Panos as we head towards the crucial stages of this race. Slenderman gets past his teammate and gets into P6. But he's got a long way to go if he wants to be ahead of his rivals, because he has got the most penalties, like I said, out of anyone. And to be honest, he's got to be careful that he does not get any more, because if he gets quite a few more, then he will unfortunately be disqualified, and you do not want to get disqualified at this early stage. And quite a few thoughts going into this stage of the race. How the hard tyre runners gonna fare with this, because obviously Kevin Newgarden feel like the one stock could work for them. And if that works, if there's no safety cars, that might come into their favour. But there's going to be people coming through on soft tyres towards the end. So that might counteract that strategy, and it may not work. But we'll see. We'll see. Matt Ryan then. 5 tenths between himself and Ryan Berry. And now he's dropping behind the likes of Tony. Det as well. Det is looking to make sure that he gets past both of them. And I think Panels could line up for a move past Flexi here. So let's see if we could have a look at this battle for the lead. McLaren versus Ferrari. Ferrari currently sitting 4th in the standings. McLaren sitting 3rd in the standings. It's just like real life. Ahmed is out of the race. He binned it just after the S's, just like what we saw Pete do in qualifying. And we have got another safety car. Surely that will mean some people, well, most people, will go into the pits and change their strategy and go on to another set of the means which will comfortably take them to the end of the race. I don't think we will see anybody change to the soft tyres. That will bring Casper back into this race. Matters on the softs. Surely that must mean now that it's rain. Surely there must be rain at the end, towards the end of the race. Because why would they be on the softs? Surely they would go on to another set of medium tyres. Quite a mixed bag at the moment. Matter on softs, Kieran on mediums, Cliffy on hards, Ryan Berry on hards, Matt Ryan on hards, Tony on softs, Deck on hards, Kev on mediums, Newgarden on mediums, Mike on mediums, and Casper's pitting again, I believe, before his 3rd stop onto another set of mediums. And obviously we won't know what the top 4 do. We won't know what the top 4 is going to be doing in terms of pit stop. If I were them, I would pit. What would you do in the chat if you were any of these drivers? So here we go then. Flexi comes out. He's on the softs as well. Yeah. Surely there's rain. Surely there's rain. Surely. It can't last like 18 laps until the end of the race. And obviously the drivers rarely tell me about the weather these days. And to be honest, I kind of like it to be a surprise. Slenderman stays out, interestingly enough. So he thinks the rain's going to come a bit later. That could work well in his favour if he does that. But there's going to be people on softs and fresh and mediums just probably breeze past him. So he has got to have the next few... He's got to have a race of his life up until when the rain comes. If the rain comes, they could have tried to trick us. Knowing these drivers, they probably will have tricked us a little bit. Because you never know with these type of situations. So, this is our 2nd safety car of the evening. You're only allowed, I think, 5 or 6 safety cars. Hopefully we don't get more. I don't think we had any VSCs at all. Which is good. The safety car is going to be in for one final lap. So obviously, Casper still heading towards turn 4 now. And I'm surprised Pete hasn't pitted, because he would be on the oldest tyres out of anyone on the grid. But you never know. He could do a similar strategy to what we saw the likes of Senderman doing at the front. So... which strategy will pay off and which strategy will fall by the race side? Let us know in the comments. So a few interesting facts around this track whilst we wait for, obviously, the safety car to come in. No driver has won more than 2 races here at Mexico. 4 drivers, which were Jim Clark, Alan Prost, Nigel Mansell, Max Verstappen, and Lewis Hamilton have won here twice, so that's 5. Max Verstappen, I think, has won another time, obviously, in 2021. And we've seen Lotus, McLaren, Williams, and Mercedes are the most successful teams here around this track. Safety cars in, then we're about to go racing once again. This is something, obviously, we are dying for. And Kev has got a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Newgarden then. So this could be huge. I will get the penalties up on my screen right now. So Senneman's on 11. The top 4 all have penalties. Kieran and Cliffy also have penalties. Matt Ryan does as well. But I don't have time to talk about any more penalties because Flexi has had the start of dreams. Senneman is out of this race. He binned it just there on the corner exit. That is not good at all. That's forcing some drivers to pit. This has just been a crazy restart and Pete's been forced to defend of the likes of Mata on fresher tyres. Could be 3 abreast going into turn 3. Pete's gone for a spinneroonie on the exit of turn 3. That's not good. Please, Ghost, because otherwise Pete's going to cause so much trouble. What is going on with these cars today? I mean, the track is probably quite slippery right now. A lot of dust, I think, at the moment. But it's Sam that leads. Panel second. Matter first. I don't know what happened to Slenderman. I mean, it was looking like he was controlled, but maybe he had... Possibly there was pressure on Flexi, maybe, for Slenderman to stay ahead. But, oh my goodness. I never seen a restart this crazy in absolutely ages. So, but it's allowed Matter to climb back up. He's within penalty range of Panel, so he could be ahead of the championship still. He could be still be leading the championship. Tony then is around about 2 tenths behind Matt Ryan. Keep an eye on the ERS as well. They have been doing loads to try and save enough for this restart. They'll be draining their batteries quite a lot here to make sure they either go on the attack mode or go on a defensive streak. As Flexi has picked it up another 3-second time penalty. That has the time penalties added to 6 for him. But that will mean that Panos will have the competitive edge over Flexi at the moment due to penalties. Tony a little bit too further back to get past Matt Ryan at this stage. So he can't go on the attack mode for now. They're doing a great job as well in 9th. Only 2 drivers out of the ones who are still in this race who have yet to get any penalties. That is Tony and that is Mata. And I did say if you hardly get any penalties around here, it could reap rewards and you can gain massively. So, watch out for Tony, watch out for Mata. Let's just hope they don't get any more. Mike gets another one, that puts him on 6 seconds now. And we're seeing people going side by side there. We've got Mike versus Kev heading towards the stadium section. Remember, this was a dangerous part of the circuit where Ayrton Senna had that accident. But obviously it was changed and modified throughout the years. Mike up to 11th then. Top 12, don't forget, score points. So this could be anything. And if you're inside the top 12 and getting fastest lap in the race, you will get an extra point. Tony, P8. Could be a P7 on track if he gets past Matt Ryan. Or does he even need to pass Matt Ryan? But he's got to be careful because Tony could be on the cusp of getting a penalty. I don't know what the warning situation is like. These guys could be on 2 warnings as far as we know. And like we said, anything can happen. Apologies about the lag spikes you are seeing. It probably might be my fault. But obviously with the dirty air around this track, this is a technical part of the circuit where overtaking can be very, very difficult. So I think at the end of this section is where we'll probably start to see the move at this DRS straight, which is now enabled. Tony, is he a little bit too further back? Yes, he is right now, so he's not able to go for the move. Casper then could go for the lunge on deck very, very soon as well. I did say that the safety car could help Deck and Casper in this situation, well Casper especially. And he's done 3 stops, so I have to say, good recovery drive from him. And with more drivers starting to get 6-second penalties, that could be game set for him. Tony has just got past Mclaren up to 7th. He's dropped a little bit from his teammate now, so got a long work to do on that regard. Alpine are currently sitting in 5th in the constructors standings at the moment. 249 points separate them. And we got an interesting battle between Ferrari, Alpine and Haas for the constructors midfield battle. And then obviously we got the battle between Williams and Alfa Romeo. Tony has just picked himself yet another 3-second time penalty. Gap between Flexi and Panos, crucially, is 2.0 seconds. So Flexi needs to get the gap up to 6 seconds ideally. Up to 3 seconds. In order for him to keep his lead. But what he doesn't know is Mata doesn't have any penalties, so he could jump both of them. So Mata goes for the lunge into turn 1, can't quite make it. Cliffy goes for a similar lunge, but this time it was a little bit earlier compared to Mata. Cliffy is up to 4th, but he will drop down due to penalties soon. Tony is a lot closer to Ryan Berry, so I wonder if Ryan Berry's made a mistake, or I wonder if Tony has upped the ante a little bit. Mata into turn 6 and 7 coming up. Mata is on a charge to make sure that Flexi does not get this race victory. Mata has more crucially got past Panos, his championship rival. We saw in qualifying, he binned it near the S's, or binned it somewhere at least anyway. I can't remember where he binned it, but he did bin it in qualifying. Even though he started P6, surely he would have probably wanted to get pole position, but miraculously he is still ahead of Panos. So I have to say, another good drive for him. I still don't know who's going to win this championship, but with Mata ahead of Panos, that could be huge, and that could be a race next week where Panos has got to be on the driving seat if he wants to take the fight all the way to Abu Dhabi. So, interesting team rivalries as well coming up, and other rivalries from other drivers which are yet to be decided. And it could have serious implications as Cliffy and Kieran Ang with a fight in towards turn 3 on the grass a little bit there, trying to get the traction that they absolutely need here. Cliffy stays in 4th for now, but Kieran is on a charge. Didn't quite want to get the move done there. He was, I think, being a little bit patient at the moment. Ryan Berry doing the same thing there right now. But don't forget, if it's not raining, the soft runners have got a big thing about pitting soon, because obviously there's no way those tyres are going to get to the end. So if there's no rain, Mata could be under threat. Panos could technically still win this race. The ones with no penalties are on the softs, believe it or not. So there we go. And speaking of soft tyres, obviously we had Pete pit just a moment ago. He's on the softs. Newgarden pitted about 3 laps ago for the soft too. Obviously the mediums will be able to make it at that current stage anyway, so Pete had to pit, which might have cost him a little bit. But here comes Kieran once again. Round 2 of this epic battle as they head towards turn 1. You can see Cliffy derailing a little bit and harvesting, but that has helped Kieran quite massively in towards turn 2 and then towards turn 3. This time looking quite comfortable at the moment. He was a little bit wide though. This could be Cliffy's chance in the Aston Martin. Don't forget, Cliffy has won in Australia. Obviously, he missed last week's race because he's only in reserve, and he's looking to claw back that advantage and show why he does deserve to be here. It's a little bit less sunnier than it was before, but will it be enough to rain, or will it be still dry enough, and will the soft runners would have regretted their mistake? Let us know your thoughts. Do you think it's going to rain at the end? So obviously with people on the soft early on, that's given a few clues. It is getting a lot cloudier. It's coming quite cloudier quite quickly. And here comes Casper. I think we're hitting a crossover point between the softs and the mediums because Panos is closing in on Matter. And we saw, obviously, Casper overtake Tony. So, I wonder if the mediums were the best thing. Tony comes in then. Tony comes in. So, what tyres is it going to be? Surely it's going to be another set of soft tyres. So, maybe it won't be raining. I don't know. The drivers are confusing me here. We've got Mike also in the pit as well. So, Mike comes in. Also another set of the soft tyres. Or maybe they feel like their tyres were edging out a little bit. Casper gets another 3-second time penalty. He is the fourth driver to go above 6 seconds in terms of penalties. That will help the ones that only got 3 seconds. We've got Akon versus Ryan Berry. The rivalry that has been spurred on since the start of the season. Don't forget they've made a bet. Ryan Berry is the one that's ahead at the moment. But Deck wants to change that at this stage as they head towards the S's, which remind me of Suzuka, which remind me of Maggots and Beckett. We've got Ryan Berry just edging Deck there as we head towards the stadium section. But let's watch Matter, who comes in right now. He thought that the softs will make it to this stage, but it has not. So what does he have to do? Go on to another set of the soft tyres, which could cost him at this stage. But with the gap as high as it is, he won't lose out too much because obviously he's got no penalties. I will check out, obviously, the warning situation in a second. So it is a battle between Flexi and Panos for the lead on track. And Tony's penalty-free run has come to an end, unfortunately. Tony has now on 3 seconds, so that just leaves Matter, the only driver yet to pick up a penalty. And look at this fight between these two, going side by side into turn 4. They're really going at it right now. They are the best of friends after all, as well. Deck up to 7th place. But how long would he keep it there? This is basically fighting for position because both drivers are on 3 seconds. They're pretty much even on pace as well. And they're on different tyres, I believe. No, they're not. They're both on hard. Scrap that. But this could be what decides everything. Flexi is in. So most of the soft runners that are pitted under that safety car is going in for another set of softs. So they probably think the rain won't come down soon enough. They will think the rain won't be hard enough to go to the end of the race. They may not think the rain will come at all. But we will find out very, very soon as Matter slots himself into 5th position and he's already catching down on Casper. Don't forget 1.1 seconds is the difference between the soft tyres and the medium tyres at this moment in time. So this could really help Matter a little bit here. Round 3, or round 4 I should say, of Ryan Berry versus Deck. These guys are just giving me some great entertainment right now as Deck. This kind of reminds me of obviously so many battles in real life, obviously. The duel in Bahrain, Lewis Hamilton versus Nico Rosberg, where they were side by side for quite a long time. But these two, they're on different teams. It's not like they're on the same team, but they're giving it everything. And they want to show that you can overtake in Mexico. Ryan Berry's just getting a little bit more speed and traction here at the final part of the S's. But then Deck gains it back towards this part of the circuit. And we also got Kev and Matt Ryan fighting for position as well. This is where we start to see the nerves start to settle in here as Casper. This could be 3 abreast, but Casper backs off. He doesn't want to make it 3 abreast for sure, which could have been ended in tears. Has Flexi and Matter go side by side in towards turn number 1. Turn 2 they come. Turn 3 does all 3 of the cars come. Casper will have the DRS. Matter also has the DRS. Flexi has dropped a little bit because obviously he pitted on the 2 of the soft tyres. So They're all got the same amount of grip. Mata has had more chance to warm his tyres compared to the likes of Flexi. So, I don't know who to predict between these two. And will they close in onto the top 3 in enough time before the end of the race? You will never know. And final chance for you to get your predictions in the chat. Who do you think will win this race? Thank you to those of you that are stuck by this stream. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Hit that notification bell as well, so you know when to see a stream from us next. Pete picked up another penalty. I thought I saw a bit of raindrops, but I was just imagining things. But we'll see then. Look at ERS levels. Flexi's pretty much ran out, so Mata can see the red light on the back of Flexi's car. How do they not make contact for that? Flexi's defence there was absolutely brilliant. Fair play to him. But surely more power on the straights for Mata could mean that Mata could get him into turn 4, which he does. Mata is up into 4th place. He's now 5 seconds behind Kieran. And I think Mata and Flexi are going to pretty much battle for a long time to come. And I'm going to absolutely love this. I'm going to absolutely love this to pieces. So, final few moments of this race. We're on the final third of this race. Thank you for tuning to VSL. And we thought that the rain would come in, but it's starting to get sunny again. Casper's in the pit, so did he pick up damage? He's also running out of fuel as well, so that is a big danger. No, he's just going on softs. He feels like the softs are faster. I think he saw the people on the softs starting to catch him, so he realised that he had to take the bullet, but he's realised that there are a lot of soft runners in front of him and behind him, and he probably would have dropped quite a lot anyway due to the amount of penalties that he has got. At the moment, at this moment in time, Panos is leading, Cliffy is in P2, Kieran is in P3, Flexi is in P4 at this stage. Mata is the first driver to get no penalties so far. He could be on course for a podium. There's quite a few people on 6 seconds worth of penalties. I don't know how the penalties are going to fare. Even though I know how many penalties they've got, obviously I'm not the best at mental math, so obviously I can't work out how this could fare right now. So, 0.3 per second between himself and Flexi. Round 3 of this Titanic battle. Who is going to fare the best here? It is Mata in the Williams versus Flexi in the McLaren. Both of them still in the championship fight as Flexi gets another penalty. So let's see how many penalties Flexi's on now. He is on 17 seconds. That's massive. He's going to jump way down. He may jump behind Ryan Berry and Deck. We're having a good fight right now. And then we got Kev as well, who's in this. Just look at the penalties people have got. That will allow Panos, I would say, to definitely keep that win that he desperately needs right now. And don't forget, the championship could be decided in Brazil. It could be. But we do hope it does not, because we want the championship fight to go down to the wire. But Mexico could decide on who has the advantage going to the final 2 rounds. And wow! Mata with the switch back there. I have to say that's absolutely incredible. So he's got past 2 cars. He doesn't need to at the moment. Can he do an impossible job to closing down Cliffy and Panos in 3 laps? I think it's going to be impossible, but like we said, anything could happen in Formula 1. Flexi's going on the attack again. Flexi does not care that he's got penalties. He just wants to have a fight on track anyway. He wants to have a bit of fun. And I have to say, fair play to him on that, because that's why I like motor racing. Due to battles like this, Flexi on the attack again, heading towards turn 4. Mata just holds on. They almost make contact a little bit there once again. Slidey, goes Flexi. That's allowed Kieran to close up even more. Don't forget, with Kieran having way less penalties compared to Flexi, Kieran will be ahead, probably around about P4, I would say, because everyone else is just a little bit further back. 4 more laps to go, and we are starting to see, I think, people start to pile on the pressure a little bit more on some of these battles, including the likes of Casper versus Deck in near the S's out of all places. So Casper up into 7th place. He's now within 1 second of Ryan Berry, and look at the rate he's gaining on Ryan Berry. That's just absolutely crazy. And since this track is so technical, there's no room for error. Flexi into turn 1, gets past Mata once again. This could be a switcheroo. I don't think Mata minds, because he's probably going to be P3 anyway. So that's probably why he doesn't mind having this battle. And he probably knows that he can't close up to Cliffy or Panos. But obviously, it does depend on the penalties, if you think about it. So I think Mata could get P2. Yes, I think he can. Not Newgarden. Pete has picked himself another 3-second time penalty. So that's now 9 seconds for Pete. Not as much as the likes of Flexi and Mike though. So he hasn't got the award for the most penalties this race yet. However, it could still all change in 2 laps time. So watch this space. So I think Mata is probably having a tactic of him wanting DRS on the final lap, I would say. That's probably why he's not going for the edge there. As Casper sent the fastest lap of the race so far. So at the moment, he will be the one to get the extra point, does Casper, because he's inside the top 12. But a lot of people are quite close to getting the fastest lap. I think it's a battle between Casper and Flexi for the fastest lap. But there's still people on the soft that could do it. Kev could do it because he's on the fresher tyres out of anyone. But does he have the pace to do it though? We will see. We are about to approach the final lap of this race. So here we come then. Lap 36 of 36 then. Panos has been leading the way for pretty much the entirety of this race almost. As Pete has gone for another spin as well. But I don't think he has. Oh, he has a lot of damage. So he will be going into the pits. I think he could still get points though. You never know. Ooh, Mata did get Flexi into turn 3. But can Flexi get Mata into turn 4? We don't know. We got a bit of a yellow flag developing. We don't know what it is yet. I think it was a battle between these guys. Ryan Berry versus Casper versus Akon. Well, there was Casper in that fight as well. But Casper has dropped a little bit. Has Casper run out of fuel? Casper's run out of fuel! Casper has run out of fuel. That's why he's ghosting. Ah, oh, that is gutting. He was on for good points and he's just run out of fuel. So he must have underfueled the car, or it must have been a fuel glitch. I don't know. Panos comes across the line. He wins in Mexico to take the lead in the Drivers' Championship. Mata comes across the line in second. Cliffy with an impressive 3rd place from 18th on the grid. Kieran in 4th, Flexi 5th. And we got Ryan Berry that will just edge Dick there in P6. Obviously, penalties could make a difference, so I will get the penalties up. So, Ryan Berry in 6th then. Who's going to get P7? Just Deck gets P7. Tony P8, Matt Ryan P9, and then it will be Mike. And then it will be Casper. I think Casper could get points. No, he won't, because obviously... Or would he? It depends on penalties, actually. I think Pete jumps Casper. Pete is in 11th, despite obviously him pitting for a damaged front wing. Obviously, Pete will be outside the point cells. Kevin 13th, and then we're just waiting for New Garden to cross the line. And that is it then for the Mexican Grand Prix. And what a race. We thought it was going to rain. I started to question actually why people were going on the soft for their second stint. For their next stint during the safety car. Because I thought it was going to rain. But there was no rain in sight. So that's why I got a bit confused. But maybe they think the two-stop is faster. They may think that the soft were the faster around this track. Panels having the Arno Watmere driver's suit. Driver profile, which is not really a surprise to be honest. So we will get the results in just a moment. So here we go then. I'll run through the results once again. Panels in first place, who takes the win and the lead in the Drivers' Championship. Matter, the only driver out of the whole field to get no penalties. I have to give that award to him. Cliffy in 3rd, Kieran 4th, Flexi 5th, Ryan Berry 6th, Deck 7th, Tony 8th, Matt Ryan 9th, and then we got Mike in 10th. Pete in 11th, and despite Casper running out of fuel, he still crosses the line in P12, and he gets the fastest lap to boot. Kev in 13th, Hugh Garden in 14th, and your retirements are Slenderman, Ahmed, Kyle, and Yuri. Obviously, Yuri bringing out the first safety car. I can't remember what brought out the second safety car. I'm just going to see if Matt got any warnings actually. He got one, only got one warning around Mexico. Wow, that's even more impressive. Matt, bravo for only getting one warning. Usually I get at least one penalty around it, or even if it's just 2 warnings, but there we go. So, we hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. So many drivers of the day there, but obviously Panos for keeping it clean. Massa for getting no penalties and having a good comeback from 6th on the grid. I have to give it to the 2 championship contenders, not gonna lie. And this sets us up for a very good fight for the final 2 rounds. So next week we head to Brazil for the penultimate round at Interlagos. A very good track for racing. So many title battles in real life actually. So it should be exciting. Unfortunately, I won't be here next week. I've got tickets planned in advance. I'm actually going to see Mamma Mia in the theatre next week. So that's because my mum got that for my birthday present. So I'm going to see that next week. Should be fun. But that means I won't be in the commentary box next week. Hopefully we will get someone in next week so you still will be able to see some action. And then I'll be able to catch up on it after the race. So, for me at least, I will see you in 2 weeks' time for Abu Dhabi. But for VSL perspective, we will see you next week, same time, 8 PM UK time, for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and goodbye.